Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. We just had a big rainstorm last night. As you can see, the water is just running out of all the fields right now. You can't even really drive in by the grain bin. You can see it all laying there. If you drive in, it's just gonna sink, make all sorts of mud tracks. Down there, water's running through the old horse pasture, and then it goes down to the pond. The pond's actually overflowing. Many of our neighbors that don't live too far away, obviously not right next to us, don't have power. Luckily we do. Now, we just got that generator put in. We didn't have to use it, obviously, because we didn't run out of power, but it was just nice to know that we didn't really have to worry about anything. And so the other day, Dad and I got the big truck pulled in, which is the first time since we've had it that we've had it pulled in for the winter. And so it's just nice to know that it's protected. And then we bought this battery maintainer just because there's 3 batteries in this thing. And I think we had to buy last year, and that was like $400 worth of batteries, brand new ones, obviously. So we got this just to keep on all winter. Apparently it will just keep them charged like fully, but not keep charging them after they're fully charged. Like now it's just gonna sit there, and then if for some reason they start going down again, well then it will recharge them. But right now it says they're all fully charged and it's doing nothing besides just sitting there. We had wind gusts of up to 50 mile an hour yesterday, or actually last night. It actually took this door, lifted it up and put it on top of the concrete instead of keeping it in this little channel here. So I'm gonna have to unchain that and see if I can get that back into place. From what I heard from Dad, he said these doors can be adjusted with some kind of screws. Maybe it's those bolts right up there and there. And then you can drop the door down and put it down deeper in the channel, which is what we might have to do. Probably 4 or 5 videos ago now, I was in here and we did a little bit more work in here. Obviously, almost all the potatoes are gone now. There was at least 4 or 5 of these carts more. Now there's no reds. I think they're all just white. All the bags of potatoes are gone. And then we have a couple rutabagas and garlic left. All the cabbage in here now is done. We're just gonna get rid of it. I think we had 2 or 3 bins in here that were full coming into the winter season. And now we have not even, well, probably about a quarter of a bin, not even that. So I wanna get this out of here before it gets any worse. You can just see how, you know, it's kind of rotting. All these onions are just for our home use. And this is what I was telling people at market all season long. If you store onions properly, you could have onions until just about March. Keep them in a dry, cool place, and they're gonna stay perfect. Same thing with potatoes. Now we recommend buying unwashed potatoes. Just seems like they last a little bit longer. These ones have been washed. Obviously we put them through the washer, so they're pretty clean, but still we keep them in a cool, dry place, just like the onions. And well, I'm not seeing anything wrong with them whatsoever. And the same goes for the garlic. What'll happen, what I've noticed between these 3 things, is as time goes on, they'll kind of just like almost start to dehydrate. And so they'll get like smaller and smaller and softer until, well, they're just basically no good no more. There's a chain on the door here, and that's stretched right tight. So maybe I fix up the door. There we go. Close. Get the other door. And it's very windy. There. So it's the next day. The weather's actually kind of half decent now. Got a little bit of a breeze. You've seen my previous video where we spread the straw on half of the garlic field, and then it snowed. Now it's very wet, we can't get in the field. But we're hoping to get back in here within the next week or so. We only have this half of the field to do. It's only gonna take about 2 or 3 more round bales, and then hopefully this will be finished up. The job that it did was actually very good. We probably could have had it a little bit thicker out there in the middle, but if we have some extra straw at the end, when everything is done, we might go back over and just, you know, do a little coating over top just to make sure it's solid for the rest of the winter. It is nice though now that we got that snow and rain on top of that straw that's already there though, because now it weighted it down and it's not blowing away like it would when it was freshly done. And so now I'm heading back here to the barn. Me and Mom just got oats bagged up for Dad. He's over at the grain bin right now, putting corn into the feed grinder. That way he can come back over here and then put the other oats and minerals in to finish grinding chop for the cows. So right here, he's already got the bags opened. He went this morning, got the soybean meal, which is this right there. And then right here is the oats that Mom and I just got. So it's gonna get pretty loud when I get over there, so I'm not gonna be able to talk much, but basically we're just running corn out of the bin into the auger of the feed grinder. That's running it into there. And then after it runs it into the feed grinder, it grinds it up, and then we'll take it over and mix everything else into it. The reason we give the cows chop, especially this time of year, is because they don't have the grass to feed on, you know, all summer long. The only thing they have to rely on is this chop and the hay that we're giving them. And also, if you just rely on grass or grass and hay, they don't ever get as big and as fat as we would like them to get. And so the grain really helps with that. So now we're gonna start unloading. Is that good? I'm gonna come back at 10 when I tame it down. I'm letting it mix a minute. So I'm gonna head down into the barn now where we actually feed the chop from and just run some into the chop cart. As you can probably figure, being a barn and having corn, oats, soybean meal, all that kind of stuff in there, mice, well, if there is mice or rats, that's where they're going. And so that's why we always have usually between like 3 and 5 cats. We like to think that they help out. We do feed them obviously, but we like to think, you know, during the day, they're hopefully trying to hunt. But we don't usually actually have too much problem. And if there is a problem, well then we'll start getting the traps out and we'll take care of them. But we haven't really had much issue now in a while, and that's because we're figuring the cats are hopefully doing their job. Probably about 8 or 9 videos ago now, I showed you that video of how the farm looked back when we still had milk cows and this whole barn was filled. Now there isn't one cow in our barn besides the couple cows we have out in our pasture. This was actually our horse's pen named Marie. Oh, there's 2 of the cats. It looks like they're working pretty hard. But anyway, this was the calf pen right here. I've actually physically never seen cows out here in the stalls, but when I was younger, we had cows all back in those pens and in those pens over there as well. And so now I'm running that fresh chop down in. I like fresh chop better than when it's like a week or 2 old because it gets really dusty. Right now it's still like, I guess I'll say a little bit wet, and the dust isn't near as bad. I'll kind of bring it in the sunlight here. If you can see that, the little bits of corn and oats, that's what you see the most of. And so yeah, that's basically it. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.